B2B email marketing, AI for better deliverability. Why deliverability is the new bottleneck for B2B email in 2025. If you lead a B2B team in 2025, you've likely noticed that send more doesn't reliably create more pipeline anymore. Inbox filters are stricter, buyers are faster to ignore irrelevant messages, and small reputation issues now cascade into real revenue loss. The uncomfortable truth is that deliverability, not copywriting, is often the constraint holding your outbound results back. Benchmark data shows B2B inbox placement hovering around 85%, meaning roughly 15% of emails never reach a real inbox due to bounces, blocks, or spam placement. When your SDRs are sending daily, that missing slice can quietly erase a meaningful chunk of meetings. And because mailbox providers use engagement and reputation signals, deliverability issues tend to get worse over time if you don't address them directly. At the same time, email remains a high ROI channel, often cited in the range of $36 to $42 returned per dollar spent when it's executed well. That's why we treat inbox placement as a core revenue lever inside our outbound sales agency work at SalesHive, alongside list building services, messaging, and SDR execution. The goal isn't higher volume, it's higher certainty that your best prospects actually see the message. Measure what matters. Delivery rate can lie, inbox placement can't. Most teams celebrate a 97 to 99% delivered rate and assume the system is healthy. But delivery only means the receiving server accepted the message. It doesn't tell you whether it landed in the inbox, promotions, spam, or a quarantined folder. If your reporting stops at delivery rate, you can be winning on paper while losing meetings in reality. In 2025 benchmarks, average B2B delivery rates can sit around 98.16%, while inbox placement is closer to 85%. That gap is where pipeline disappears. Your team keeps working, sequence metrics look normal, and the root problem, reputation and placement, stays hidden. For a cold email agency or an outsourced sales team running volume across multiple inboxes, placement is the metric that predicts outcomes. Use the table below to align your team on the numbers that actually reflect inbox health and buyer response. Once these become part of weekly reporting, you'll diagnose problems earlier and avoid the reputation cliff that can take weeks to recover from. How mailbox provider AI decides who earns the inbox. Modern filtering isn't primarily about spammy words anymore. It's about patterns and behavior at scale. Gmail, Outlook, and Yahoo apply machine learning models that evaluate sender reputation, message similarity, and recipient engagement signals over time. In practice, Mailbox AI is asking, do recipients value this, or do they delete it, ignore it, or report it? That's why common outbound habits hurt more than teams realize, like blasting the same template to thousands of contacts, over-emailing non-responsive segments, or letting bounces hover around acceptable. Cold email benchmarks show average open rates around 27.7%, replies around 5.1%, and meetings booked around 1.0%. When inbox placement slips, those already thin margins compress fast, and SDR performance looks like a people problem when it's actually a systems problem. The key idea is that deliverability and conversion are linked. Relevance drives engagement, and engagement protects placement. That's also why a full-funnel B2B sales agency model works well here. When list quality, infrastructure, copy, and SDR behavior are managed together, you can create a consistent feedback loop. If these pieces live in separate departments, teams tend to fix symptoms instead of causes. Get the fundamentals right. authentication, complaints, and unsubscribe compliance. Before you add AI tools, lock down the technical basics that mailbox providers now treat as non-negotiable. SPF, DKIM, and DMARC need to be correctly configured and aligned for the domains you send from, especially if you're scaling outbound sequences. Even strong messaging can't outrun broken authentication, and the fastest way to lose trust is to look like an impersonator. Many organizations still underinvest in DMARC enforcement, and benchmarks show only about 7.6% of domains actually enforce DMARC with a quarantine or reject policy. Filed senders are cited as roughly 2.7x more likely to reach the inbox, which is why we treat authentication as revenue infrastructure, not IT busywork. If you run sales outsourcing or manage multiple sending domains, this becomes even more important because reputations diverge quickly. You also need to meet the operational requirements mailbox providers have made explicit for bulk senders. One-click unsubscribe, fast unsubscribe processing, valid recipients, and low complaint rates. Gmail and Yahoo's guidelines highlight spam complaint rates below about 0.3%, with a recommended target closer to 0.1%, and proper list unsubscribe support. A practical action we recommend is a deliverability audit this month. Confirm authentication, check reverse DNS, and validate your unsubscribe workflow end-to-end so your SDR org isn't scaling on shaky ground. AI doesn't fix deliverability by itself. It amplifies whatever foundation you build, whether that foundation is strong or sloppy. Use AI to clean lists, segment smarter, and protect reputation. List quality is the fastest lever to improve deliverability without increasing volume. High bounces, catch-alls, role accounts, and spam traps send immediate, low-quality sender signals, and cold outreach benchmarks commonly report bounce rates around 7.5%. If your team is buying lists or skipping verification, you're effectively paying for negative reputation signals. AI-assisted verification and enrichment tools can classify addresses as valid, invalid, or risky based on server responses and historical patterns, then help you prioritize high-fit segments. The biggest win is using AI not just to remove bad emails, but to score accounts by ICP fit and likelihood to engage. So SDR sequences start with prospects who will respond. That alone reduces bounces and complaints while lifting positive engagement signals that Mailbox AI rewards. A common mistake we see is set it and forget it list building, where the same stale segments get hammered for months. Instead, use engagement-based suppression so non-responders fall out of rotation automatically, and re-enrich periodically to keep firmographics current. In our sales development agency programs, this is where list-building services and deliverability strategy intersect. The list is not a static asset. It's an engine you continuously tune. AI personalization that improves engagement and inbox placement. Mailbox providers don't read your intent. They measure how recipients react. Personalization matters because it increases the odds of opens, replies, and forwards, which are strong positive signals over time. The shift in 2025 is that personalization needs to be both relevant and scalable, because Mailbox AI can detect bulk patterns even when your copy sounds fine to a human. Industry reporting on generative AI in email suggests 95% of marketers using it say it's effective. 41% report higher campaign revenue, and AI-assisted programs have improved click-through rates by about 13%. That lift compounds for SDR teams because it's not just better conversion, it's better sender reputation driven by better engagement. The practical takeaway is to let AI generate research-driven angles and tailored CTAs, but keep human guardrails so claims remain accurate and compliant. At SalesHive, we operationalize this with eMod, our AI email customization engine that researches prospects and turns a single template into thousands of unique cold emails. Because we combine personalization with disciplined sending practices, it supports both performance and deliverability instead of trading one for the other. This is a key differentiator when you're choosing between SDR agencies. The best programs don't just send emails, they protect the sender asset that makes future outreach work. Warmup, pacing, and monitoring. AI can't replace discipline, but it can enforce it. New domains and new inboxes are fragile, and reputation builds slower than most teams plan for. Deliverability research has cited brand new domains taking an inbox placement hit of roughly 30 percentage points versus aged domains, which is why aggressive ramp-ups often backfire. If you're launching a new outbound sales agency initiative or spinning up an outsourced SDR team, you want a controlled warm-up plan before you scale. AI warm-up tools can help by gradually increasing daily volume, simulating human-like engagement, and spotting placement issues early through seed testing. They're useful, but only when paired with fundamentals, verified lists, relevant targeting, and complaint rate discipline. A common mistake is using Warmup as a permission slip to blast. In reality, it should function like a speed governor that prevents reputation spikes and crashes. Treat monitoring like a revenue dashboard, not a deliverability afterthought. Add inbox placement, bounce rate, spam complaint rate, and engaged reporting into SDR reporting so managers coach on quality rather than just activity. When we run programs that blend cold email with cold calling services, we also watch channel mix. If email placement dips, we temporarily rebalance toward calling and LinkedIn outreach services while we stabilize the domain. A practical next step playbook for sales leaders and where SalesHive fits. If you want a simple sequence of action, start with infrastructure, then data, then messaging, then scale. Run a technical audit, fix authentication and unsubscribe compliance, and validate that your program can consistently stay under the complaint thresholds mailbox providers expect. Once that foundation is stable, use AI to clean and resegment lists so only high-fit contacts enter sequences. From there, make AI personalization and testing an operating system, not a one-off project. Continuously A/B test subject lines and CTAs, rotate variants so your patterns don't look like bulk spam, and retire underperformers quickly. The goal is to keep engagement trending up over weeks because Mailbox AI responds to trends, not single-day spikes. If you don't have internal capacity to run all of this, that's exactly why teams hire an SDR agency or choose sales outsourcing. SalesHive is a US-based B2B lead generation agency founded in 2016, and we've booked 100,000 plus meetings for 1,500 plus clients by managing list building, infrastructure, personalization, testing, and execution in one loop. Whether you need an outsourced sales team, a cold email agency partner, or a program that also includes a cold calling agency motion, we focus on the same outcome: more inboxed emails, more qualified conversations, and more meetings that turn into pipeline.